Hey, I'm Mack. Welcome back to my channel. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe and consider joining my Patreon for access to new videos 12 to 24 hours early, as well as some Patreon exclusive content. So we are going to pick up where we left off with the Jessie Lee Ward, because I feel that as long as she is saying dangerous things like this, someone should be responding to it, no matter how painful it is for me. So let's go.
So fun. Yeah, what else can piss somebody off today? I don't know. What do you want to talk about? Let's piss somebody off. I like pissing people off.
Why? I feel like that's a terrible goal to have in life. But I mean, I guess you do you. I mean, far be it from me to tell you what to do.
Why is no one talking on TikTok? You're watching and not
God, she's so tired.
talking. Anyway, what can I say? I'm trying to think of other stuff that I did this week that was new for the cancer journey. Probably. I feel like there's new stuff every day. Like literally. Oh, so May 1st I am not going in. I see that question. So I decided it does not feel good to go in and do chemo on May 1st. I've decided to wait the 2 months, do a scan in 2 months, see if all of this other smorgasbord of everything I'm doing is curing this cancer. And
How do you think it? I will not be able to understand how you could possibly think that any of that stuff would work at all. It is not something that I can even empathize with, almost, or it's very hard for me to empathize with it, because I how that can be even considered to be a possibility in your mind is beyond me. But it's your choice. The oncologists have told you it's your choice, because it is. Notice that they're not forcing you to do anything. They told you it's your choice. They just told you what the consequences of your choices will be. And so it is your choice, but you're not going to be able to get those 2 months back if you're wrong. You understand that, right? And the consequences could be serious, and you won't be able to go back and undo that bad choice. So I don't think this is very smart. And the reason that I am here reacting to this is so that other people who might be interested in what she's saying understand that there will be consequences of doing 2 months of ineffective treatment when you could have been doing a course that was effective. And that's going to potentially either make a remission or cure impossible, or make it a lot less likely, or significantly shorten the amount of time that you are able to live cancer-free. Could make it a lot more miserable. There's a reason that this rush to chemo happens. It's because the sooner you can get it, the better. The sooner you can get it, the better. The better it's going to be for you. The more likely it'll be that you could induce a remission, that you could end up cured, that you could end up a lot more comfortable, that you could end up having a lot more healthy quality life. That's why it's rushed into it, and that's why people put up with such miserable side effects, is because it works, and because what it gets you is so valuable. And if you waste time, it will slip through your fingers, and you won't be able to get it back.
and then go from there. And if it's still in there, I don't mind blasting it with it obviously having all of these other remedies to support that. So a lot of the side effects from the
Okay. It's not that it's going to still be there. Cancer doesn't just sit there and, bide its time and, stay steady. It doesn't do that. Okay. the thing that makes these cells a cancer is that they spread and they multiply and they go to all of your organ systems and they multiply. They're not just still going to be there. They're going to be in a lot more systems and a lot more organs, and they're going to be out in force. That's the problem here. It's already in your lymph nodes. So it already has its little trucks out on the interstate to go wherever it wants. And it can make a lot of dreadful progress in 2 months.
But I'd rather talk to you guys about it so you know what to experience, or you can say like, what was your experience at MD Anderson? I'll tell you, it's the worst hospital I've ever been to, or worst doctor I've ever seen in my life.
Why? Because they wouldn't tell you what you want to hear? Because they told you the truth instead of telling you, oh yeah, totally, all you need is frankincense. That'll work. Just buy some doTERRA oils and that'll be fine. You'll live forever if you have the doTERRA oils. You'll be all set to go. You'll be good to go. You don't need chemo. Because they wouldn't tell you that? Is that why? Because if they told you that, it would kill you and they wouldn't tell you that? Is that why? Okay. You think you're always right, don't you? And you're also in denial, and it's really sad. It's really sad, and it's a tragedy, and it's worse that you are potentially leading to a tragic situation for other people.
Or like this, how'd you find out you had cancer? Could you tell us something was wrong? No, like it's important I tell you this. I had no symptoms. None. The only time my stomach ever hurt, and it never even really hurt, the only time my stomach was ever bothered was when I would drink water in foreign countries. So like Colombia, I was like not pooping right, okay? That's literally it. But no, there were no symptoms, there were no signs. I intentionally lost weight over the last now it's been a year, but 9 months I lost weight. So it's not like, she lost all that weight from cancer. No, like I had no symptoms. None. So I think it's important I tell you that because in history of colon cancer, no. I think it's important because who's talking about it? Who's going and welcome to Silver, Carly. You guys can brag. And when you guys sign up for any accelerator level silver, gold, or platinum, just say signed up in the comments. I'll give you a shout out. No problem. While we're on live and I'm, telling you all these things. But I think it's important, again, no symptoms, no anything, no pain in my stomach at all. No blood in my stool. No weight loss for no reason. Yes, weight loss is definitely a sign. All I think about is Zarazay, who beat cancer with food and natural resources as well. I love you, Lauren. I hope you're great, by the way. I'm not as good at watching stories anymore, so I'm not as up to date as I was.
Can you believe there were no symptoms? They should maybe come up with some type of, screening or something. If there's no symptoms, you'd really think that those would exist. Like, yeah, a lot of times it does have no symptoms. That's why screening for so many different types of cancers is such a big deal.
In your life a couple months ago, it's been difficult for me to keep up to date. But yeah, so if you, and then this. So if you want to, so I don't mind talking about it. So I like when you ask questions because people say, hey, how did you discover it? Why was it discovered? Was it a routine, anything? Well, not really, because you can't just walk into anywhere and get an MRI for no symptoms, no anything, no family history, unless you're 45 years old is when you can start ordering colonoscopies. And so Okay,
well, a colonoscopy and an MRI are not the same thing. And also, you totally can get an MRI just walking in if you have enough money in this country. That's like half the reason why our healthcare is so expensive. They'll give you an MRI for anything. You can get a brain scan from Dr. Amen.
Paid $2,500. I went to a place called Prenuvo. I ordered and paid for my own MRI just to get a baseline MRI to see how healthy I was, which is
a baseline MRI to see how healthy you were. What? That doesn't make any sense to me. An MRI of what? I'm so confused.
Kind of.
Yeah. There's something that she's not telling us here, because like you don't just get like an MRI just generally, like you well, number one, you're not going to get an MRI of your whole body, and number two, that wouldn't be something that you would get to, quote, tell how healthy you are. Like, what? No, like, you know, there are different types of MRIs that are used for cancers to see the progression of it, or for I know that they are also used extensively in multiple sclerosis. You get a baseline and then you see, like, you know, what the progression is. Or I know for certain types of myeloma, they do an MRI. But what she's saying here, at least to me, doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I don't know what she's talking about with this. Like, it doesn't, unless, like, there might be something that I'm unaware of, because like my background's in pharmacy, it's not in like imaging or whatever, but I don't know what she's talking about here with this MRI to see how healthy you are. Like, that makes no sense to me.
Funny, I guess, now in retrospect, a little bit ironic. But I went in and I thought nothing. I thought that they were just going to tell me, oh, clean bill of health, you look amazing, you know, because my blood was all great, everything was great, great, hormone levels perfect, blah, 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 blah. And instead, I went in and I got a report back about 3 weeks later, so it wasn't really the fastest, but at least I got it. And it lit up here, which of course is the lymph nodes, and then down here it lit up as well. So there we go. And that's that. So I think it's important you advocate for your health. And then on top of that,
what do you mean it lit up? What lit up?
The other thing is I ordered another $2,500 test called a Gallery Grail test. You can look it up. The company is Gallery, Galleri, I believe, and Grail, like the Holy Grail test. And it's a pre-cancer screening. Can save a lot of lives, including mine. And I will definitely be a freaking testimony for them once this is all free and clear out of my freaking body.
Well, you're going to need to get the chemotherapy first in order to do that. Okay? Because it hasn't saved your life yet. It's only going to save your life if you actually respond to the information it's providing you with effective treatment. Okay? All it's done so far, apparently, is told you that you have cancer. But the outcome doesn't change until you do something that is effective about it.
Because that came back immediately too. It said, boom, colon cancer detected. And I was like,
Well, yeah, you said they saw it on an MRI. What are you doing another test for? Like, they could point to it.
My God. Yes. So is the stuff I'm putting on right now vegan and whatever? I don't even know. So someone tell me it's Lady Gaga's. It's the House Labs. I will tell you, all of the stuff that goes on my skin, my lotions, my shampoos, my body washes, everything has, for many, many, many years now, has always been organic and clear of chemicals and stuff like that. Yes, I got tan in Miami. I know you guys were worried I was going to get burned, but I knew I'd be fine. So, like, no symptoms at all. So, yeah. Why? Another question for why vegan, guys. When my doctor tells me this is how you're going to live longer, I don't really ask questions.
But when a qualified doctor tells you that you need chemo to live more than like 8 months, you're just like, no.
I just say, okay. When the sweet little old Chinese lady says, this is the way you are going to cure your cancer, and I don't feel good about you doing chemo, I don't feel like you need it.
Your little Chinese lady is a murderer then.
I go, okay, boo-boo, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna test again, but I appreciate.
And how many cancer patients has she cured, would you say? Out of how many? Do you know? Why do you trust her if you don't know?
Appreciate you. So how often do I wash my hair? Like once every 5 days now. I was up to 10 days for a long time there, or like consistently 10 days. But yeah, no. I have a lot of doctors because of course she's my acupuncturist.
Jesus Christ.
God, how many doctors do I have? I have a naturopathic oncologist. I have an oncologist. I have a energy healer. I have a shaman. I have an acupuncturist. I have RNs that give me IVs 7 days a week. I have... What other doctors do I have? I don't know.
Baby girl, I only heard one doctor in there, the oncologist. You know, there's a reason that they don't give everything IV in a hospital, and it's because it's a bad idea. There are, complications and risks associated with it. There's a reason they try to minimize that. But whatever. I only heard one doctor in there, sweetheart.
I have a lot of doctors.
As far as I can tell, you have one doctor.
What would have happened if you didn't do the MRI? I would die. I would have died because I was feeling amazing. So
that still doesn't explain why the MRI happened and like why it was on that area of your body. Like that sounds like there must have already been something suspected. Yeah. What can I say? Would have been a bad day.
Would have been a bad day. And God went, no, not done with you yet, my child. And I said, oh, thank you, big guy. Appreciate you. Okay. What's next? Eyeliner, but I need to warm it up.
How self-centered do you have to be to actually think that way?
So what do eyebrows? Okay, so I need to be calling myself plant-based. All right, you guys just gotta keep me, I'm just still learning, all right? I'm new to this vegan thing. I was carnivore for a very long time, so people, you will find out how people really are if you get sick. Like, you will find out who people really are. As an example, there is a family member. Actually, I'm gonna talk openly about this. Y'all ready for some real tea? Okay, let's talk about it. So, first of all, there are people who literally will be kind to you until you don't do exactly what they say you should do, and then they turn straight mean. This includes family members. Not very joyful. Okay, the other thing, by the way, the most joyful man on planet Earth is literally in my home right now, so I'm like feeling so extra joyful just knowing your energy's here. Everybody, this is Loca.
What up? Hope you all are having a joyous day. Do you know joyous Jessie Lee? JJL? That's my girl.
I love you. Like the best human. That's Loca, who I always tag in my Instagram stories, so you guys can follow him. Someday he's going to be having Joy Conference.
Yeah, I could follow him. I'm not gonna, but I could.
So you guys will definitely need to attend because I wish you could see this. He's literally rolling. Can you like? I don't know if, let me like move this so you can do it. Well, you can't really tell.
I'm just on a hoverboard.
Yeah, he hoverboards everywhere.
You know what happened here? So I came onto the Instagram Live. I don't know if you can see this, my shoe lit up as I came in. So it's Jessie Lee's energy just getting everything lit over here.
Yeah,
like
unintentional?
So lit. Yeah,
Amazing.
It just happened.
Oh my god, I love that.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
All right, off I go again.
Off he goes, toodaloo, kangaroo.
Having a good time, yeah?
Bye-bye, darling.
All right.
Ciao now.
See ya.
Appreciate you helping out.
No problem.
Oh my god. Yes, he also bought me the pink shoes. Oh, I love it so much. Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, those kicks are so amazing. I know.
Wow, you guys are the worst.
You need an autobiography? Yes. Okay, so
That sounds like it would be quite the annoying document.
all right, so that is not the tea. That's Loca. Okay, so here's the real tea. This has been fascinating. I knew I came from a bad family. Okay, like I've known this. I've worked on it a lot of trauma healing, a lot of emotional healing, a lot of energy healing, a lot of praying about it, a lot of like, why did this happen to me? A lot of like all of this. You know what I mean? I don't know if anyone can relate to that. You can put a yes if you can relate to any kind of shenanigans like this. Oh, well, whoever just got silver, welcome. Boss Lady Accelerator's open. And I knew I came from bad stock, for being super honest. Like those of you who know, if you came from a family that's been dysfunctional and has always been dysfunctional and people have always tried to force relationships, or you see the people, once a year or something like that, if at all. And, you just.
That's not really dysfunction that you're describing there. I'm not saying your family is not dysfunctional. I'm saying that those aspects of it are pretty normal.
Don't even know each other, then you kind of probably know where I'm going with this. But I will tell you, I have been stunned at the people that are blood related to me, because I'm not even going to call them family, because they're not family. The people that are blood related to me, and the lack of anything support-wise. I mean, literally, not even a message. So I have 15 first cousins. I have heard from none of them. Not.
I don't even know what my cousins are doing right now. Like I'm not even sure how many cousins I have. I know that I have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I have 5 cousins. I don't know. Listen, I guarantee you that at least one of those 15 has probably had them or someone in their immediate family, like your aunt or your uncle, who have had a very serious diagnosis, just like yours. Did you say anything to them, Jessie? Did you? Do you even know about that diagnosis? Are you sure that none of them have had one? Or was it just they didn't feel like you would be supportive, or they didn't feel that you really needed to know? Because maybe you've always been a very cold and just generally nasty person to your family. Maybe that's why. But it's very easy to think everything revolves around you, and so you're the only one who has this problem or whatever, and so it's so horrible that no one's reached out to you. Well, have you reached out to them? Have you looked in to see like how any of them are doing? Because you might not be the only one who's had a serious medical issue. It becomes more and more common. And 15 is a lot of people. And that's a lot of people who are also going to have their own little immediate families. Did you ask about how any of them were doing? Or do you just not care? Why do you think that you should be especially cared about more so than any of them? Why is that?
One. That's fascinating to me. Now, do I have any relationship with my mother? No.
I mean, shit. Like, they probably don't even know what's happening. How would they know? I mean, unless they're following you on social media, which my cousins don't. That would be weird. It's like, it's how would they have found out? If they're not talking to each other or whatever, then what do you expect? Why do you expect everyone to reach out to you? What do you expect them to say to you? Because I have to imagine that no matter what they said to you, you would have a problem with it. You would. And then we'd be hearing about how what they said to you wasn't the right thing, because it's you are consistently always interpreting everything anyone does in the most negative light that you possibly can. You're one of those people. You're very neurotic, and it makes you miserable to be around because you always are slanting everything to the negative, and you can't even bring yourself to like stop and realize when you're doing it. Okay, because I have a little bit of that streak myself. But through the course of recovering from my addiction and stuff, you know, I did a lot of like reflecting on like when am I injecting negativity into a situation that didn't exist there? Like, when am I reading something negatively intentionally and making myself and others around me miserable for no reason? Because that's what you do, and that's why people don't want to be around you. And you don't care, which is fine, but don't expect people to have a lot of care about you or to want to be around you. Why should they? Why should they want to be around you? Just because you're blood related? Just because you're blood related doesn't entitle you to be included. Not if you are mean and aggressive to them, or if you've given them no reason to. You know, they're I would love to know how many of their medical diagnoses you know about and have been supportive of for them. Because I guarantee you, in a group of 15 people in their immediate families, they exist. But you don't know about them because you don't care.
None. Do I think that if my daughter had stage 4 cancer, and I knew because I asked my brother to tell her, do you think my ass would be on a plane to just knock her door down until she opened the door and apologize and say, I'm not here to talk, I'm here because you're my daughter and I heard? Yeah, I'd probably do something like that. Nothing. Silence.
Well, okay, I don't know the circumstances of what happened, but perhaps your mother doesn't feel like she owes you an apology. And she probably knows that if she did that, you'd probably be complaining about that, about how it was so fake or whatever. You would have that exact same response. You wouldn't appreciate it at all. And you know what? She knows that about you. You know why? Because she gave birth to you and she raised you. She's seen it before. I don't know anything about your relationship, but I guarantee you that what I said is probably more true than I even think it is.
My dad has just been screaming about how I've been despicable for not doing what he wants in regards to treatments. So
right, because he doesn't want you to die in 8 months. And I'm not saying that screaming at someone is appropriate, but I am saying that the level of rage he is experiencing and having difficulty controlling is completely understandable. Is 100% understandable. 100%. Because he's watching you basically jump off a bridge, and you're like, well, why are you mad at me for jumping off the bridge? Because I don't want you to die. And why are you making... Because you are hurting him. You are basically, through your own stupidity and denial and refusal to even entertain the fact that you could be wrong, you are taking his daughter away from him. And that hurts him. So Yeah, he's angry.
I'm not sure what that's about. I have, oh my God, how many aunts and uncles do I have? A lot. I have heard from none of them, not a single one of them, except for one who messaged to say, I heard you and your little brother aren't getting along. My brother.
Okay, I got to give a self-content warning here. As the video continues from this point, my language is going to get increasingly aggressive and forceful. And some of the wording I'm going to be choosing, it could also be wording that is used to describe self-harm. If that's something that's going to be troubling or seriously disturbing for you, I would encourage you to click out now. It's fine. You're dismissed. But I feel that my language was necessary to make my point as forcefully as the topic deserves. I guarantee you, at least one of those aunts and uncles or cousins has had cancer or has cancer right now. I bet she didn't say shit. She probably doesn't even know because she probably never checked because she's too good for that. But how come no one's paying attention to her? Because this time it matters.
My brother and I never get along. We haven't had a relationship for a very long time. My brother, unfortunately, is an addict. Okay? Crazy. My brother, I'm 30 minutes away in Miami last week. He messages me, hey, want to come up and see me? And I said, I would love for you to come down and see me. The same brother I'm talking about. And he says, I can't. My maids are coming. And then he said, get over yourself. My maids are coming. Actually, let me say that the right way. The next comment that was interesting to me is my sister, who I haven't talked to in 8-9 years, my half-sister. My dad has shown very interesting colors during this cancer journey. Like, he was screaming at me about something in my house. I was on a phone call with him. He was disagreeing with, he doesn't like Sasha, Mateo, or Dawn. I don't know why. He thinks they're here to use me, although they flew across the world to be with me during the entire cancer situation, like literally from Spain and from Switzerland.
Because they are allowing his daughter to kill herself. That's why he's angry and doesn't like them. Because as far as he's concerned, because the rest of us out here, Jessie, the rest of us understand that chemo is effective and that the oncologists know what they're talking about. And the reason they're trying to rush you into quote unquote chemo is because it will save your life, or it will at least extend your life a lot longer. And so for all of us, this is like an established fact because we know the facts and everything and the evidence behind it. And we've seen it happen either to us ourselves or to our families. We've seen them get treated with chemo and seen great things happen from it. And we've seen this shit go very badly because we all know that that's bullshit. Okay. So from his perspective, what they're doing is encouraging his daughter to kill herself. And you're going along with it and you're angry at him. Well, yeah, he's a little bit upset about that. He's a little bit upset at your friends for encouraging you to kill yourself. Because that's what you're doing.
Excuse me. Sasha was in the middle of a vacation in Tenerife, and he boarded the next plane to come here and be with me for an entire month.
Right. But from his perspective, from your father's perspective, Sasha came over to encourage you to kill yourself.
But they're there to use me. But I paid for my dad's ticket to be here, paid for his hotel to be here, and then he wasn't here because he kept waking up late. So I hardly got any time to spend with him. And
I'm going to guess that was probably because he was preoccupied.
And then got mad and screamed at me on the phone and said that his open heart surgery was way worse than this and I needed to shut up about it. And then he called me an arrogant bitch. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that.
I'm going to guess that you spoke to him like an arrogant bitch. Just like you're behaving right now. This little snotty attitude. Yeah, he's telling you that the open heart surgery was worse than getting chemo. I don't know if that's true or not, but what I know is I can understand why he's furious at you.
That's facts. So he's been blocked, actually. But then my sister, who I haven't heard from in 8 years.
Well, I hope that won't make you wonder why he's not contacting you anymore then. Imagine the pain that he's going through right now. Blocking your father because you've chosen death. And he doesn't like that.
Reached out and said, I heard there's some discord between you and Jake. That's my little brother. A, there's not discord, okay? Like, there's just not a relationship. B, I don't know you. I didn't grow up with you. You haven't talked to me in 8 years. That's your first text message. You haven't, you're worried.
Okay, so you're mad at them when they do talk to you, and you're mad at them when they don't talk to you. So what do you want? What do you want? What do you want?
About a discord and disagreement between me and my little brother. Who are you? Like, do I even know you? I don't.
Yeah, I believe you said they were blood related, and earlier you were talking about how you were upset that people who were blood related to you like weren't talking to you. But now they are, and they're trying to like patch things up with other people who are also blood related to you. But it seems like now you're upset that people who are blood related to you are talking to you about other people who are blood related to you and like trying to make amends and trying to form a relationship. But like that's also making you angry. So it seems like perhaps you are a neurotic who cannot let anyone ever have any positive intentions, cannot let anyone ever. You have to put people in a no-win situation, and then you're angry at them when they don't win. Well, that's exactly what you designed it for, isn't it? You know, that's why you're so miserable all the time. That's why you will never be happy when you're behaving this way. Ever. I promise you. I promise you, you will never be happy. Because you are the architect of your own unhappiness when you do this to people. And then you're angry when people don't want to be around you. Well, who would? Why would anyone want to be around that? Other than your cult members. I mean, actual friends or actual family. They don't want to be around you because you are miserable to be around. Because it is exhausting to be around you. Because you are a total suck on any positive energy in a room. Everything is just so negative. It's just so, everything's condescending. It's all snarky. Everything that anyone else does is out to get you or is, trying to take away from you or whatever. Well, enjoy your life, Jessie. I know you won't, but because you don't enjoy anything, because you are profoundly and deeply and of your own choosing unhappy. And I would say that the people who refuse to talk to you, well, guess what? You know what? Since it's 15 against 1 in terms of your cousins, I'm going to go with it's probably you that's the problem and not them. Just the odds are that it's you that's the problem. If everybody in your life is a problem, then it's probably actually that you're the problem.
I know you. So that's my whole, those are the people that are blood related to me. It's been pretty great.
Yeah, it seems like you treat them like shit.
And except for my older brother has been amazing. We talk every single day. Every single day. Every day. Love him to death. And he's been amazing through all of it. And he's just awesome. He actually has a lot of, some, I would say, symptoms of this. Because this is a gene mutation and it's and I'm BRCA1 positive. And that is really common through siblings. So he needs to go, he's going to get a colonoscopy.
I thought you said you had no family history. Maybe you just don't know that you have family history of it, girl. Because you won't talk to them. Or because every time you do talk to them, it is a miserable experience. So this BRCA1 mutation would even further increase the urgency of chemotherapy.
Anyway, so that's the real tea that's going on. I find it to be unbelievable. Like, unbelievable. But
really, it sounds pretty believable and pretty predictable to me. It sounds like exactly how people behave when you treat them like shit and you only care about yourself.
Be careful. I heard that cancer was going to show me how people really are. I just didn't really think it was going to be like that. So I feel like if I was somebody's daughter, or if I was somebody's parent, right? Or if I was my parent, or if I had a kid who's maybe successful or giving or kind or loving or compassionate or helping the world or doing whatever.
Yeah, but your parents don't have that. I mean, how you can believe that about yourself is incredible. I wish I had your confidence sometimes, except I actually don't, because then I would be an asshole. A miserable, unhappy asshole. I don't know, but like, wow.
I feel like I would be really proud of them. I don't feel like I would be.
Yeah, you would be. And your parents would be too if they had that. If they had one.
Anywhere near what my family has been doing. I don't want to call my family. They're not my family. I don't know these people. So anyway, I'm sorry that you have a similar daily. So anyone who relate, I'm sorry, because I know it sucks. Congratulations, Jamie Lynn, just joined Silver. I love that. It's all right, Ashley. I appreciate that. I'm letting you guys know, so, and that is actually true. Like this comment right here, you feel like my followers care more about me than my family. Again, I'm not going to use that word anymore. The freaking people that I share blood.
Your followers are enabling you
with 100%. Crazy. So it's been an interesting, this is dried out. Are you serious? It's been an interesting couple of months of like
kind of playing it fast and loose with the word interesting, sweetheart.
Of realizing who's actually here and who is absolutely not. So I really hope see, and here's Mom, Lisa Grossman. Not my real mother, but that's Mom. This is a wonderful woman right here.
Okay. That's basically the end of the content here. For the rest of the video, she just goes on, like, talking about how her family, she doesn't have relationships with them, okay? But, like, she expects them to have a relationship with her now, I guess? Even though it doesn't seem like she wants to do any of the work, right? You can't argue with people like this. You can't have a relationship with them either, That's why. Because if they did reach out to her, then she'd be talking about how it was the wrong way or it wasn't supportive enough, because that's the reason why you think your followers care about you, is because your followers are just that, they're followers. So they're agreeing with everything that you say, right? Right, they're not going to push back, and then if they do push back, you're just going to block them or whatever, right? But they're already paying you money, so, they're too invested in you, so they're not going to push back, right? Because, I think we've learned that when it comes to stuff that is deadly serious, yes men, They might feel like they care about you, but they don't. And it's people who love you that are going to tell you when they think that you're doing the wrong thing, because they don't want to see you get hurt or worse. And that's the reason why. Nobody likes having conflict with you. You're probably especially difficult to have a conflict with. But they do it because they care about you. You just make it really hard for them to do so. And that's why you're going to be very, very unhappy until you realize that about yourself. And until you realize that the way that you treat people matters. I've been Mack. Peace out. Bye!